Welcome back, Fly Tyers, to another AvidMax Tying Tuesday. My name's Brady Laehr. Today we're tying the Puterbaugh Caddis for you. It's an awesome little caddis fly developed on the Arkansas River. It's a good place to develop caddis flies with the prominent hatches that they have, the famed Mother's Day hatch every year. It's a great caddis fishery. So to start out, I have a Tiemco hook in the vise. We're doing the TMC 100. This is the SPBL, so it's got a spear point, the upturned spear point, which is also barbless, which is nice if you pinch your barbs anyways. Maybe just consider buying the barbless one, save yourself the time, and you'll have a more durable hook also, because it's easy to damage the integrity of the hook and pinching those barbs. But I went ahead and started my thread. I'm using a 10-aught Veevus on this hook today. And we're just gonna do some locking wraps and get that secured. But we're not gonna walk it too far back. Gonna do just maybe 2 to 3 hook eyes back to where I'm gonna tie in this first material. And this is the 2mm Tyers foam. I'm using tan today, which is a great natural color for the caddis imitation. And we went ahead and I trimmed it down, so I cut a piece that's about the width of the hook point and about the length of the hook shank, which helps with consistency on this pattern overall. So we're going to go ahead and tie it in. I'm going to tie it in pretty much the full length of those thread wraps that I put down, just to help give as much security to this foam as possible, because it is just going to be hanging right off the back there. So we'll do a few locking wraps, and then I'm going to go ahead and pinch that foam and bite into it and secure it to the hook shank. And nice and firm wraps through it to really kind of help level it out throughout where you're tying it in. So the next step from there, it's a pretty simple fly to tie overall. If you're doing dry flies, this is a good one to kind of get going on. Has some techniques that you'll use on a lot of other flies, but is fairly simple overall. So the next thing we're going to do is add our Elk Hair wing. Cleaned out the under fur on them real good, brushed through it, get all that fur out of the way. Nice clean fibers to tie in. And then we'll go ahead and stack them in our hair stacker. And then we can bring them on up and measure out how long we want that to be. I like to go just a little bit past where that foam is going. So we'll measure that out and clip our tips. And then we can come in and tie that right onto the hook shank here. Spin our thread so we got that reverse loop going on. And then just a couple of wraps, make sure it's where you want it before coming down and biting into it to secure that in place. And then we can work forward right over top, covering that all up nicely, and work on a transition down to that hook eye. And you do want to build up this transition, because when we wrap our hackle, we don't want to be sliding down too easily. We'll bite into that material and make it as smooth as possible. So the next step is to prepare that hackle. Get that foam back where we wanted it. So just some brown hackle, using the whiting high and dry like I like to use. And we'll select our feather and go ahead and prep it. Use that hook gape as your hackle measure, your gauge. And then clip off some of those barbels or strip some of them off. And we'll tie that in using the X-wrap method there, one in front to back, and then one back to front. And then we can come back over and capture that extra stem and just secure it down to the side. Try and capture the rest of that hair that was left behind there. Go on forward. Again, just being aware of your transition point there to where we half hitch. And we'll wrap our hackle forward. great dry fly. It's a very buoyant fly. You already had the Elk Hair that made it really buoyant, and you add some foam. It's just going to keep it floating all day long. You can tie it in tans, browns, blacks, olives, yellows, a whole variety to get a range of imitations into your box for when those caddis start flying around in the summertime. We're just going to do touching palmers right on forward here. We'll go up to where our hook eye ends. And we'll leave ourselves a little bit of room for our tie-off point. Get our thread in position to go ahead and capture that. We can release our hackle pliers, get those out of the way. Pull some of those fibers that we trapped. I guess we're going to just have to clip those off on this one. But we can go ahead and whip finish it. Just a few whip finishes there. So we can clip all this out at once. And get those rogue ones out of the way. And then I'll add a little Zap-A-Gap just to keep it nice and secure, extra durable. Just a little dab will do ya. And you got a very fishable caddis dry fly that's gonna float for you a lot longer than those traditional ones while utilizing that foam. I think I got a little bit of glue in the hook eye, so I'm just gonna take a piece of Hackle and we'll run it down through there to get it out. So that when you get to the river, you can thread your tippet and get fishing. There's the Puterbaugh Caddis. Excellent little dry fly available from Umpqua Feather Merchants at AvidMax. If you don't want to tie them, you can buy them or get the materials and give it a shot. I definitely believe in this fly and recommend it to anybody that has a good caddis fishery.